Gilas season is once again upon us as ating kupunan Gilas Pilipinas men will start their campaign in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers on the road as they are currently in Jakarta to take on the Indonesian national team. Yan po ang larong ihahatid namin sa inyo. Carlo Pamintuan together with Dr. J. Andy Hao and Doc, the future of Philippine basketball will start officially in this ballgame.
That's the reason why we're picking up a lot of young players in our preparation for the 2023 when we are the hosts of this FIBA Cup. No? And right now, we're trying to qualify into the FIBA Asia Cup, which will be next year. And we have to finish in the top 2 in this bracket. And right now, South Korea has been lording it. No?
After a lot of preparations, a lot of practices, it is trimmed down to 12 ang ating pong final lineup. Nahirapan naman talaga sina Coach Mark Dickel to form it. But we have a nice mix of players coming from the PBA, a lot of veterans in the unit. Kasama na dyan yung iilan na naglaro in our FIBA Basketball World Cup team in the last edition. But we also have a few members of the squad that will be making their debut as members of Gilas Pilipinas in the men's team.
Well, you're referring to guys like Isaac Go, Matt Nieto. We have Justin Chua is here for the very first time. And of course, Dwight Ramos, somebody that we really don't know.
Yeah.
And they're just expecting us he's going to be playing for the school of Ateneo next year. And we have, of course, Abu Tratter. He certainly could be a big help as far as the big men. So we have a very nice combination of young players as well as some veterans that really perform well for us, like Roger Pogoy and Troy Rosario and CJ Perez.
Yeah, along with team captain Thirdy Ravena and Poy Eram, they should be, a part of the starting unit para kay Coach Mark Dickel in this particular contest. And we are expecting great things coming from the PBA players because they are bringing in a lot of experience in this national team. Ngayon naman, tignan natin ang format of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. How will Gilas Pilipinas men advance into the next stage? Well, here it is. We have 6 groups composed of 4 teams each. We will have windows. And after that, we will determine the top 2 teams of every group. All of those top 2 teams, Doc, will advance into the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. All the number 3 teams will have to compete in another set of elimination games to determine kung sino yung pupuno sa ating field in the FIBA Asia Cup. Important to note that this is a very short tournament. It is shorter than the qualifiers for the FIBA World Cup that we engaged in a couple of years back.
And right now we are in the group with South Korea, we are with Thailand, and we are with Indonesia. So I think if we can pick up 2 wins, which certainly we are hoping we can do, we will be able to get into the next stage very easily. No?
As we said, this will be the first game of Gilas Pilipinas men in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers dahil hindi nga po natuloy the supposed game at home against Thailand because of the coronavirus scare. But now let's take a look at the current standings of our particular group. As Dr. J said earlier, South Korea is lording it over the field so far as they picked up a huge victory against Indonesia in their first game, and then earlier today, they were able to defeat Thailand, but Thailand gave them a very good fight.
And Thailand should have been our first opponent just a couple of days back if kung natuloy tayo. So obviously, it's also a blessing for us that now we are able to take a look at them. But right now, with the 2 victories, South Korea would have already proceeded because their only match left would be against us. No? Now, the Philippines has to win tonight against Indonesia, and we're playing in Indonesia. We have to beat at least Thailand before we try to face South Korea and hope to get a victory against them.
And this makes this particular ball game a very important one. Gilas Pilipinas men will be taking on Indonesia. We'll take a quick gap. We will break down our lineup when we come back.
to cover a lot of ground to get us ready to play a good game. Well, it's just trying to get combinations down and trying to get everyone to understand what we're trying to do at both ends, because it is going to be an adjustment for them. You know, obviously having injuries kind of throwing a little spanner in the wrench, but we've got other good players that are capable of coming in and doing the job. So hopefully day by day it becomes clearer who's going to play, how much they're going to play, combinations, and we just keep getting better and better.
Because we're starting with a new program for 2023, you see all the youth we have on the floor. So we're running down 2 lanes simultaneously right now. We know that every single Filipino wants to win every single game, and we do too. We're part of that, and we plan for that, we prepare for that, we compete for that. I think everybody has to understand, everybody doesn't have to like that we have these dual objectives, but this is what I've been appointed for. I've been appointed for 2023. Mark has been appointed for February 2020. And we'll see how we're going then. And Mark's involvement, I think, will continue. Obviously, the SBP and all the vested interests will discuss what it's going to be, but his passion and energy is something that's very valuable to this program at this point.
Minutes away from the start of Gilas Pilipinas men versus Indonesia, the mandate is very clear from the Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas, especially from President Al Panlilio, in saying that they want to get as many wins as possible out of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers and even in the FIBA Asia Cup. But we have to invest in the future, and our eyes are on 2023. We are looking at that as the main goal for these preparations, Dr. J.
And we have a veteran coach in Tab Baldwin who will be responsible for getting us there. Of course, right now it's Mark Dickel who's going to be doing the coaching for this particular stage. But you're very correct. The only way that we can invest for these young players is to get them exposed to international competition right now. And I'm sure what they're going to do is they're going to mix it up as they go along to different stages. They might mix up the players on the lineup.
We have a very versatile unit that was formed by Coach Mark Dickel, and these are the attributes of the team. We have a lot of youth, 6 players with ages of 23 years old and below. We have experience, yung 4 na nabanggit natin, the players who came from the World Cup in Troy Rosario, RR Pogoy, CJ Perez, and Thirdy Ravena. We have players that are very familiar with each other, and that is why we are very excited to witness this team compete, and they will go up against Indonesia. We send it over to the Mahaka Stadium to witness this ballgame.
And number 33, Aki Wisnu, with the head coach, Raiko Toroman. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem. First, the national anthem of the Philippines. And now the national anthem of Indonesia.
set for Gilas Pilipinas men versus Indonesia. Carlo Pamintuan and Dr. J. Andy Howe on the call. Dr. J, we have a bunch of PBA players mixed with some of the players that were drafted into the PBA specifically for 2023. We're talking about Isaac Go and Matt Nieto, who were joined by Mike Nieto, Alin Bolanati, and Ray Suerte, all to form the 2023 national team.
Yes, but only two of them are with the team right now. And we do have a guy that everybody is wondering what he can really do, no? Because he did play in the United States before transferring to the Ateneo de Manila University for the coming year. Dwight Ramos, I think a legitimate almost 6'3", 6'4" player. Really got athleticism. And I think I've seen him play in some of the tournaments just before the league. I was watching one game that he played, and he shows a lot of maturity for a player. Now let's see what he does on the international stage. CJ Perez, we know what he can do. He was a big revelation for the Philippine team, and he's still a young player. I think he's only 26 years old.
As we take a look at the starting unit for Gilas Pilipinas men, team captain Thirdy Ravena, with Boy Aram, RR Pogoy, CJ Perez, and Troy Rosario. An outstanding unit to start with size, with athleticism, and all of those 5 players can actually shoot from the outside.
Yeah, and they're what you would say veterans of the squad, no? They would provide good leadership for the other players on the team. If you notice, our team is not that tall compared to the previous Gilas teams that we have had. And obviously, that was hurt because some of the other players declined because of probably fatigue, or maybe they're not in 100% condition. But we'll have to do with Aram as probably our biggest player on this squad right now.
Taking a look now at the coaching staff, led by interim head coach Mark Dickel, Coach Dab Baldwin, Coach Sandy Arespacochaga. We have 2 outstanding assistants in Coach Alex Compton and Topex Robinson.
Topex Robinson. And we have
manager Gabi Cuy as well.
Correct.
And they certainly did a great job in forming this team because, you know, as you said, Doc, there were a lot of late pullouts, but they happened to select players who they involved late into this squad that were ultimately added into their roster. Kasama na dyan si Justin Chu. As now we check out the starting lineup for Indonesia, and the players that you will have to keep an eye on are Grahita and Prastawa Diaksa, 2 outstanding players who can score, especially from the outside.
I think if you remember, we played them in the Southeast Asian Games. We didn't really have a lot of problems with this team, but remember, we also had a different team with a lot of good veteran players on that squad. And we have the coach, Raiko Toroman, former Gilas coach. Actually, I think the first, no?
He was the head coach of then Smart Gilas Pilipinas at the start of this program, headed by the Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas. Expectations when it comes to Thirdy Ravena as the team captain, Doc?
Well, I think he's going to sacrifice a lot. Kiefer is that type of a player. Obviously, you said he's a big time scorer if he wants to, but he knows he has to sacrifice. He has to get his team involved, as well as the fact that he also has to get the youngsters involved, no? To get their confidence. And like I said, you can see definitely who's the tallest player on our squad. That's Poy Aram, about legitimate 6'7". And then we have Troy Rosario and Abu Trotter. Those are our big players, no? Our big men.
Few moments away from the start of this ball game. Ang quarter na ito ay hatid sa inyo ng new Cobra Vitamin C, lakas at proteksyon. Cobra, the #1 energy drink. And a couple of players that we saw dun sa likod ng bench ng Indonesia, Brandon Jawato and Lester Prosper, who could have really helped them here in this campaign. But unfortunately for Indonesia, their papers did not come in time.
Do you think their papers will come in for the next game?
For the next set of games,
I
would think so. Kasi akala nila, Doc, everyone was expecting that they would have those 2 players as we get things going with JP Aram tapping the ball to CJ Perez to start this ball game.
Well, that would have given us a lot of problems because he's a legitimate 6'9" that can play and can score, no? Let's see the movement of the players here of the Gilas team.
CJ Perez with an early shot that will not fall. First possession of Indonesia in this ball game. Advantages and disadvantages, Doc, of not playing dun sa first game supposedly for Gilas Pilipinas.
Well, you know that you lose, you take away the pressure right away if you already played, especially if you also won. Oh, a nice 3-point shot early for CJ Perez.
And this 3-point shot is brought to you by Smart.
Well, if you notice the type of play that our coaches are doing, it's really a fast game. If you're open, take the shot. Good release there for the Indonesian player, but not enough muscle on that shot of his.
Pero nakita natin yung kumpiyansa, Doc, coming from CJ Perez.
Yeah.
2 shots from the outside early in the ball game.
The first one, I thought he had pressure because the time clock at the time was running down. The shot clock was running down. That's not a good pass because he did not slide into the basket very quickly.
Now let's see what Indonesia can come up with. 3-0 is the score so far. You got Thirdy Ravena playing defense way out there, almost getting a stop.
Kiefer has good hands. No? If you show him the ball, you're going to lose it. Unfortunately, on the second tap, he was called for a foul, so it's the first personal foul called against the Gilas team. No?
Natakam doon si Thirdy Ravena because Indonesia was already in trouble there. That is Hitoru struggling to control the ball. They only had 4 seconds to shoot. Napakalayo pa sa kanilang attack zone, Doc.
Yes.
Another miss here for Indonesia, with Perez picking up another rebound.
Trying to push up the ball.
Ravena now calling a play, asking for a ball screen mula kay Eram. Kiefer, the long 3 won't work. But an offensive rebound for the Philippines, and that is a foul, a push from behind, drawn by R.R. Pogoy.
Pogoy may be about 6'1", 6'2", but that's one thing that he does well. He has a knack for getting offensive rebounds. And there's a very clear push. If he didn't push him, it would have been a layup for R.R. Pogoy. No?
There was a lot of talk, Dr. J, before this ball game started about Grahita, because we heard that he was suspended actually by their team after his reaction to the post-game interview after their loss to South Korea. But I think he already apologized to Coach Raiko Toroman for his disrespect, and now he is spending this game with his teammates, and that will be another foul.
Offensive foul.
An offensive foul this time against Pogoy.
Yeah. Well, very early, you can see the presence of CJ Perez. Good defensive stance there by the Indonesian player. CJ Perez has a 3-point shot. He has a steal. There are things that he does for the team because of his energy. And we're really looking for our youth to really come in. Remember, in 2023, he might be about 29, 30 years old, and that's his prime.
Great defense so far coming from Gilas Pilipinas men. Grahita loses control of the ball, but Indonesia recovers. 3-point shot for Prastawa. That's money.
Well, like I said, I've always watched basketball, and if you look at the weaker teams, if you look at lineups and you say one team is weaker, they usually can compete in the first quarter. It's as you go in the second quarter, can you stay put with the team that really has more dominant players.
At Doc, yan mismo yung nangyari in the game between Indonesia and South Korea. The stronger squad was certainly South Korea, but Indonesia shot very well
in the beginning
of that contest. Ultimately ran out of steam in the second quarter. Kaya naman natambakan na sila ng tuluyan ng South Korea, as JP Eram is currently on the line for 2 free throws.
He's got to calm himself down. His movements, I think, remember, he's also coming off injuries. So, he's got to really get his timing back. And that's why it's very important that he be part of this first team that we have for the Gilas team.
The second one falls for Eram as the Philippines retakes the lead 4-3.
Kiefer continues to put pressure, and so is CJ. He's always looking at the passing lanes of those kind of passes of Indonesia.
Handoff papunta kay Prastawa. Mismatch here as he misses on the 3-point shot. Well defended by Eram.
Pogoy picking up his second rebound. This one a defensive rebound. Open. Nice move.
Eram with a nice drive as he scores with a layup.
3 points in the ball game now for him. The other 3 belonging to CJ Perez. We have doubled up on the Indonesian players.
Doc, alam natin that Eram can make that outside shot. He has shown us time and again in the PBA, but he needs to get his inside game going first.
Well, that was a very good shot fake. We got all the players, the defensive players jumping up. Another interception. It's going to be a held ball. Possession arrow will stay, I think, with Indonesia because we had the first possession.
Timeout for Indonesia.
And we have an early timeout requested by the home team, Indonesia. They're down by 3 points, 6-3 against Gilas Pilipinas men. Bringing you the action from Jakarta, Gilas Pilipinas men going up against the home squad of Indonesia. As we thank you for keeping it locked in, I'm Carlo Pamintuan with Dr. J. Andy. How so far? The offense not yet getting a flow for Gilas Pilipinas men, but their aggression on defense, kitang-kita natin to.
Yeah, we only have 2 seconds on the shot clock. They need to take a shot, and maybe that was a great timeout, resulting in a very good ball movement and a nice shot to cut the lead down of Gilas to 1.
So Prastawa owns all the 5 points for the Indonesian side. Another nice offensive rebound, resulting to a good shot attempt mula kay Justin Chua. However, a sorry miss coming from the big man.
And that's where he usually is very good. And he's left-handed. He's on the left side of the floor. Very nice bank shot. Oh, long three-point shot, and it's money.
Outstanding start for this shooter. Prastawa, we said that he was one of the Indonesian players to look out for. He has all of their 8 points, though.
Yeah. You can see that he's a veteran player. You know, he knows how to take care of his teammates. Another long one from the outside. And they're doing well on the rebounding. You know?
1 of 3 so far in this ball game for CJ Perez as Indonesia grabs a 2-point lead, 8-6 against Gilas Pilipinas men as we approach a halfway mark of our opening quarter. They go to the corner. This is Jemilang. The layup won't work. The tap falls to Troy Rosario.
Couldn't get the reverse layup there that he wanted. No?
Rosario with a strong move. That one-hander is good. First shot attempt of the ball game. That was Roger Pogoy.
Roger Pogoy. He loves to post up smaller guards, no, because he is a powerful player, no. So we've tied the ball game at 8-all. And you can see about 5.5 minutes gone by so far here in the first quarter. Open shot again.
One dribble, pull-up jumper won't work. Nagkahiyaan sa rebound ang Gilas Pilipinas men. Luckily for them, they were able to control the possession. Thirdy Ravena now going one-on-one against his defender. Ravena naghahanap ng puwang. Chua has it now. Justin attacks towards his strong side. Tough layup, but his putback is good. And this rebound of the quarter is brought to you by Smart.
One thing you like about Justin, he doesn't give up on his shot. He threw up a very bad shot, but he also knew he had a great chance for an offensive rebound. We have a blocking foul there called against a Gilas player. That'll be our second team foul. It was against Greta. And we have a couple of substitutions coming into the ball game.
A lot of youngsters, teammates with the Ateneo Blue Eagles checking in at the same time. We saw Isaac go. Thirdy Ravena Matt Nieto also there with Dwight Ramos as the veteran. Arky Wisnu checking in for the first time. Ang tatao sa kanya, Thirdy Ravena.
Yeah, that guy can play. We've watched him already. He can play.
Indonesia runs the horns here.
Nice
Good
pass.
pass down low. Outstanding offense coming from Indonesia.
Actually, he was also pushed. But he did make the shot, and we're still tied at 10.
That was Kosasi making the basket down low to tie the count once again.
Nice
Good
pass.
Justin Chua though denied. Great defense by Kosasi. Counter-attack para sa Indonesia. Prastawa does not get the bounce. And immediately you can feel the impact of this younger unit on the floor as Thirdy Ravena gets the basket to drop with a foul. This move of the quarter is brought to you by Smart.
That's one thing about Thirdy. When you get him into the open court, he likes to finish on the open court. And he is a very strong player. For a guy maybe just below 6'2", he is strong and he's quick. He's got great leaping ability. So he has an opportunity now for a three-point play.
And he drew the foul from Arky Wisnu, one of the elder statesmen of the Indonesian national squad. A bunch of them nag-graduate na, katulad nung shooter nila, si Sandy Corniawan, who's not with this squad anymore.
Do you remember they had a guard there before, a point guard that was also a veteran?
Good stop here for Gilas Pilipinas men. 13-10 is the count. You can feel the speed of this contest right now. Isaac got denied at the cup.
2 blocks already for the Indonesians against our big men.
Pero nakakapulot pa rin ng offensive rebound ng Gilas Pilipinas
Open
men.
shot.
Thirdy Ravena
Yes!
converts on this three-point shot, brought to you by Smart.
And somebody pushed Thirdy, but he got away with it. Thirdy already has 6 points in this ball game for about 1.5 minutes of playing time.
Outstanding effort off the bench coming from the second unit of Coach Mark Dickel as Abu Tratter. We'll also see action.
Yeah, and thus Justin Chua goes back to the bench. Abu can also help because Abu may not be a big-time scorer, but he does things to help his team by rebounding and defending. And he fights those screens that are being provided by the Indonesians. He has to close out just in time.
And it is Dwight Ramos picking up the defensive rebound. Matt Nieto dribbles himself into trouble here. Finally sends it out to Isaac Go. Nieto nasa labas. 2 minutes and change remaining in the first quarter. Thirdy up top, asking for a screen mula kay Isaac. Thirdy makes his move. Ravena could not finish. Another offensive rebound for the Philippines. However, Abu Tratter threw it off the backboard sa likod na parte. So the ball will go back to Indonesia.
Got a little greedy there. He could have easily just thrown it out properly, but he wanted to get it to somebody who was open. But anyway, we are enjoying a 6-point lead. Certainly because of the efforts of the second team that has come in, led by Thirdy Ravena. Our defense is holding though, partner, Carlo.
And that is the reason why only 2 players, Doc, have scored so far for Indonesia. In Prastawa with 8 and Kosasi with 2. Pero kailangan mag-ingat ng Gilas Pilipinas men in terms of their foul situation. They will be giving up free throws for any additional fouls. Solid defense so far. 4 seconds remaining. But at the last moment, napituhan pa ng isang foul, which will lead to these 2 free throws.
It will count.
Oh, it will be an end one opportunity.
Yes.
They gave him continuation.
I would have given that too. I mean, that was not a good foul. When the guy went by you, you let him go because there are defensive players who are going to help you out. I know the system of these guys, no, and they do help out each other a lot. Just a little bit long on that free throw shot.
Si Toru's missing the bonus. So it will remain to be a 4-point advantage for Gilas Pilipinas men. Thirdy with 12 to work with. Goes to Matt Nieto. First look from the outside, no good. Another offensive rebound. Isaac Go, lefty layup, no. As Tratter taps it out of bounds, ball will go back to Indonesia.
And you can see Isaac apologizing. He should have gotten a little bit stronger. But remember, he's a rookie in this kind of competition. See, you can see him avoiding it instead of just taking it stronger. Take the contact, you probably would have had a 3-point play.
And Dr. J, marami-rami na rin tayong mintis from that distance with Justin Chua and Boy Eram also missing from there. Indonesia
Nice.
loses the ball here. This is Dwight Ramos, goes up high and scores with a layup. Ang lakas move na ito ay hatid sa inyo ng new Cobra Vitamin C. Lakas at proteksyon. Cobra, the #1 energy drink.
Everybody is looking at this player. No? They want to see how much he can really help this team. You know, how much he can really help Philippine basketball. Because he's already known as a good player, no, in the NCAA, where he did play and sacrifice, I think, his last 2 years.
And he will have those 2 years to play for the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Marami yung nagsasabi, Doc, that he will be filling in to
For
the role that Thirdy Ravena left.
Yes, yes. He's like a small forward, power forward. And he's strong, also athletic. Nice pass, open shot.
An outstanding play coming from Indonesia as Prastawa hits another 3-point shot, brought to you by Smart.
We're still up by 3. Couple of seconds differential between game clock and shot clock.
Prastawa already with 11 points sa larong ito. Final few seconds of the first quarter. Ravena has the ball. There's a switch. Thirdy makes his move. 3-point shot. Rattles out.
They have enough time to get off a good shot.
But they will not be able to do it. Gilas Pilipinas men will hang on to a slim advantage. Outstanding performance coming from Thirdy Ravena off the bench. But Prastawa of Indonesia is the leading scorer with 11 points. His team, though, down by 3, 18-15, heading into the second quarter of action. Quarter of action coming right up. Gilas Pilipinas men kontra sa Indonesia. This game played in Jakarta. Carlo Pamintuan with Dr. J. Andy Hawang. Quarter na ito ay hatid sa inyo ng new Cobra Vitamin C. Lakas at proteksyon. Cobra, the #1 energy drink.
Well, Indonesia was able to stay in touch with the Gilas team in the first quarter, even though they didn't really shoot very well. There was only one guy there that did a lot of their scoring. But I thought that the defense of the Gilas team really made it difficult for them to get also good shots. We have Ramos playing on the outside.
And Dakara Prastawa ang namuno sa Indonesia with 11 points in the contest. 3 of 5 shooting from downtown.
Open.
Matt Nieto for 3. Can't get it to fall.
But we will keep possession with a fresh 14-second shot clock. No? Good rebounding from the weak side, but by our players. Wisnu just couldn't control that rebound.
Nieto looking for his options. Stratter down low now, posting up. Handoff pabalik kay Nieto.
Nice
Good pass to Abu. Stratter down low. Another sorry miss for Gilas Pilipinas man.
You can see the inexperience of players that have not played. Oh, what a move, but good help. Was there a foul called?
Looks like it was a clean block for
Yeah.
Abu Tratter. erasing the shot of Prastawa, who evaded his initial defender with a nice spin move. Pero nandun si Abu Tratter to shut the door against him.
17 seconds left on the shot clock for Indonesia. Like we said, you know, Trator is not a big-time scorer, but there are a lot of things that he can do to help the team, and that is one of them. He comes down quickly on defense, doesn't give you a layup. No.
Only 30% shooting from the field in the first quarter, Doc, for Gilas. They managed to stay ahead because of their offensive rebounding. Indonesia, though, inching closer, only down by 1 now.
18-17 is the count. Poy Eram is back in the ball game.
Eram will try his
Three-point
luck
shot.
from the outside. That's
Short.
way short.
That's like I said, you know, he really has to get himself back into the game yet. Coming off injuries, we have Toraman. After Toraman, I think it was Chot already, no? Who was Gilas coach. And then
Coach Tab Baldwin.
Tab Baldwin, I was with him. We were together in 2015. Good thing we didn't have to go back to Changsan anymore, huh? No more.
18-17 is the count now. Pabor pa rin ng Gilas Pilipinas, but only by 1.
Tapos si Coach Ying na, no? Wild shot there by Wisnu.
Pogoy nagbababa ng bola para sa Gilas. Thirdy Ravena makes his move. Great defense, though, coming from Indonesia. How about this guy, Prastawa, already with 13 points in the contest, though.
But you can see how quick our transition defense is. All the white shirts were back. No? They had no chance for a layup or a fast break. And they're going to have a steal. We're going to have a fast break.
Easy basket here for Gilas Pilipinas, man. This move of the quarter is brought to you by Smart. RR Pogoy, 4 points,
4 points
in the game.
That was the easiest one. Look at that pressure. Now, they're in trouble.
Thirdy Ravena picks up the steal. Looks like there will be a reset on the clock. At yan ang request ng ating referee.
That's why he blew the whistle.
Yep.
And that's why play stopped all of a sudden, because Pogoy had already fake off the defender and was going for a layup. And now we have CJ Perez to add a little bit more havoc on our pressure defense in the backcourt.
Because the FIBA rule is if you start the play in your front court, automatic, dapat 14 seconds na lang ang nasa shot clock. That is why it is at 10 right now. Pogoy asking for the ball down low, well read by the defense. And this will be another held ball situation.
And possession arrow will go to Indonesia. Remember, we inbounded here at the start of the second quarter, no? Is that correct? No, yeah, the possession arrow. Let's see. No, it belongs to us. It belongs to us.
Stay with the Philippines. As RR Pogoy looks like he went down that well one too many times. Kasi nababasa na Doc kung ano yung gusto niyang gawin, posting up against his smaller defenders.
Yeah, it's their ball. I remember we inbounded and there was no held ball after that.
Yep, a correction from our officials in Jakarta.
Maybe I should go and help them there.
Good move coming from Prastawa, but his kick-out pass was well read by Rosario. And Troy will score.
Well, turnovers are hurting Indonesia. Already 2 steals and 2 layups in a row for Gilas Pilipinas. But I think we have planned this, that we weren't going to pressure until a certain stage of the ball game. And this is where it's starting right now in the second quarter.
So Doc, the offense is not flowing yet in terms of the sets, pero yung effort nila on defense turning out into easy points for Gilas.
Yeah, well, nothing beats getting a layup. We're going to have a hand check foul there on the drive there against CJ Perez.
And we do understand that there will be limitations in terms of the team chemistry of this particular squad because they only had a handful of weeks to prepare for this window.
And remember, there were 24 players, no? So obviously, you got to give opportunities for everybody that came to practice, and then they picked the 12 that they wanted to use. Open shot for Pogoy. 7, that's Rosario, no?
Yep, Troy Rosario got going because of that fast break layup and now adds to his tally with 5 points in the period, sinking a 3-point shot. 7-point lead for the Philippines.
Okay. This is what we were saying when CJ Perez came into the ballgame, that there was going to be interceptions, havoc on the defense. Third interception in this quarter for Gilas Pilipinas.
Signature move coming from CJ Perez. Ito ang lakas move. Hatid sa inyo ng new Cobra Vitamin C Lakas at Protection Cobra, the #1 energy drink. Try mouth for Indonesia.
On this side, but we have to penetrate. We have to penetrate. They're switching everything. We cannot develop our offenses. All the points, they were coming from turnover. All the points. They didn't score maybe 3 points from Rosario, they scored from their offense. So bullshit. We have to finish on the same side. They are making 10 points different by turnovers. Okay, play one shot side of 5. Roll hard and go on opposite side of him and then penetrate. Let's go, boy. Indonesia.
7 steals for Gilas Pilipinas, resulting to 11 points off turnovers. And even if hindi pa masyadong nakakapulot ng puntos off the offensive sets, they're getting a lot of offense because of their defense.
Yeah, and I think Kiefer is back in the ball game, and again, a lot of pressure. We have a roadblock established by the big man there of Indonesia.
First taste of the double-digit lead for Gilas as they are up 27-17. Great defense once again. Reading the passing lanes was JP Eram. Eram with a kick-out pass. Rosario, another 3. Not this time. And Juan Gomez de Liano seeing his first action as a member of Gilas Pilipinas men.
Well, the UP player who's known for his scoring from anywhere on the floor and also has a lot of spunk. See that kind of
That should be a traveling violation.
Yeah.
Instead, it is another steal.
And there was no call. Because that was a blocking foul there on Grahita. But I think a charging offensive foul was called against Kiefer, and you can see the expression on his face. What happened there?
Interesting call by the referee. First off, Indonesia got away with what looked like a traveling violation, as Coach Mark Dickel will call this timeout just to let the referee know that he did not appreciate that last call. 27-17 in favor of Gilas Pilipinas men.
We haven't got one time to it. We're getting great shots. Get down here on defense. Stay with it. Hey, they're about to break. Can we stand on it now? Hey, run weight next time down. And run it all the way through to the wall, to the second ball screen. Come on.
This is the first game in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers for Gilas Pilipinas as they take on Indonesia. We thank you for keeping it locked in on ESPN 5 on One Sports, and we're also streaming this live over at One Sports on Signal and Sports 5 BH. Carlo Pamintuan and Dr. J. Andy Howe at your service. So Indonesia will get this possession as Prastawa still leads them in scoring. That guard has been outstanding so far. 13 points in the first quarter, but he has been silent as JP Eram grabs the defensive rebound.
Well, you know, you can't afford to make misses like that. You know, good fake underneath the basket. If you cannot score, you're not going to stay and compete with Gilas on the same stage. No? There's Diliano. I thought he was going to pull up and shoot that one. Aram still cannot find his range from whether three-point shot or medium-range jump shots.
Approaching the midway mark now of the second quarter. And this was also the difference in Indonesia's game against South Korea. They played well in the first 10 minutes, but ultimately the defense got to them, and that is a foul, a clear one against Era.
Number 7, Pogoy, Erram. First personal
Era
foul.
checking out of the ball game.
Second team foul.
Magbabala sa muli ng tao si Coach Mark Dickel, as he's hoping to get offense coming from the big men. Justin Chua and Isaac Go both have not yet really made their presence felt. Si Troy Rosario pa lang in terms of the 4s and 5s who's gotten some offense.
That's right. If you were to count the positions, we're not getting a lot from our big men. No?
But the wings have certainly come to play.
Especially Thirdy.
That's a tough shot. Well defended as well. Tatakbo dito ang Gilas Pilipinas. Nice forward pass. Thirdy Ravena with a touchdown.
He got 8 already. Ball game, yeah. He's got 8 points already. And we have a 12-point lead. And look at that pressure defense.
Rahita nahihirapan sa depensa ni Gomez de Liano. Now he's up against Abu Tratter. They go to the corner. Gemilang attacks, blocked by Thirdy.
He's doing everything, huh?
The white shirt's on the run again, and that is a foul given up by Sitorus.
Foul was deemed before the takeoff, so no continuation given to CJ Perez. And we have nailed them to 17 points for quite a while now. They kept in step with us in the first quarter, but right now they're behind. Toroman talking to the referee.
Dr. J, only,
nice move, huh?
only 2 points in the quarter for Indonesia. 6 minutes into the contest here in the second quarter.
It's just because of the kind of defense we saw. We've switched almost everything, and this guy can shoot it. You know?
This three-point shot is brought to you by Smart, converted by Juan Gomez de Liano.
So all the young players are beginning to show us what they can do. No? Thirdy, Dwight, Ramos for that very good move.
There's a mismatch down low. Tingnan natin kung kayang puntahan ng Indonesia ang kanilang sentro. Instead, the attack coming from Prastawa. Two different players might have traveled in that possession, but Indonesia finds a way to score a point.
There's going to be a foul there, so we're going to see Abu Tratter go to the free throw line. Si Torres, I think, may foul dito.
Juan Gomez de Liano tried to force the issue, issued a tough pass to Abu Tratter. Luckily for Abu, he drew a foul from Sitorus and is currently on the line for 2.
Now he's not a very good free throw shooter, but he has certainly improved on that in the last year that he was playing in the PBA.
Member now of the Alaska Aces. We're also, of course, extending our appreciation sa lahat ng PBA teams who allowed some of their players to be part of the pool for Gilas Pilipinas men. As we remind you once again that we are also live streaming this game over at One Sports on Signal and Sports 5 PH.
Diliano going out.
So this is a really good defensive unit. You have CJ Perez, you have Thirdy Ravena, you have Dwight Ramos on the floor for Coach Mark Dickel. Prastawa sends it to Gemilang. Baseline attack. And that tip-in will not work.
Here we go.
Nieto pushing the pace. Bounce pass to CJ. Perez for 3. No good. Offensive rebound for Thirdy Ravena. Putback won't work though.
Oh, he forced that. He could have taken his time, maybe take one dribble and get closer to the basket.
Still a decent 14-point advantage for Gilas right now as they're whistled for a foul. That'll be number 3 for Gilas in the second period.
Not yet in the penalty situation, but they've only scored 4 points here, and I think we've scored 15 points in this quarter, no?
Almost
that would have
a
been
defensive blunder for Gilas. Luckily for them, hindi nasalo ng malinis ni Grahita as he misses on the one-hander. Thirdy, locating Matt, extra pass to Dwight, will not pull the trigger. He attacks inside, extra pass to Thirdy down low.
You know, like I said, one of the games I saw this guy Ramos play, he's a mature player. I mean, for a guy who's never played in the Philippines before, he looks so... That's going to be a reach-in foul there called against CJ Perez. And I think that was worth the gamble. That if you would have stolen that, you would have had a layup and a dunk probably.
But that will push them into the warning. Next foul will be resulting to free throws para sa Indonesia as Pogoy checks back into this contest. Thirdy is the first Gilas Pilipinas player to hit double digits with 10, 4 of 7 shooting from the field.
And only one other player on the other side has double figures.
Rastawa for Indonesia.
Nice pass, nice fake, nice block.
Good help defense coming from Pogoy. Nakikita natin yung tulungan sa depensa ng Gilas Pilipinas men.
That's the problem with a team that doesn't have a lot of offensive options on their players. That's Nick.
And we have another substitution here, Juan Gomez de Liaño. Checking back into this contest, pinalitan si Matt Nieto as Grahita. I think there was a foul called in that last block. He is rewarded with a couple of free throws.
I think the foul occurred before the block. You know, he banged, there was a defensive player who banged into him. So leading scorer. But you know, they really need a lot more help, you know. The reason why it's easy for the Philippines to defend against them is they have no shooters aside him from the outside.
Those are the first 2 points in the ball game for Grahita. He was their leading scorer with 25 against South Korea.
Well, he could get going.
And usually it is free throws that gives them confidence. Pogoy now posting up a smaller defender. Double team comes for him, forcing him to miss the shot.
Good floating zone there done by Indonesia. And they all collapse into the paint.
Rastawa defended by Pogoy. Uses the screen from Vincent. Rastawa, the short stab is good.
A small run here, a 4-0 run, and quickly, I think Mark Dickel is calling a timeout, not giving them any opportunities to get any momentum.
15 points in the ball game for Rastawa as Indonesia is down by 14, 35-21.
But you were here, and then we'll post you straight away. We got that? Juan, where are you? Hey, so into to the wing. We're cutting Roger right to the post. Now, Roger, now once you get it, it's not a finish just for you. But if you're going to go straight away because there's no help. Now, hey, the next time we post it, Roger, on this action, Juan's wide open. Hey, we're okay. Let's get a score. Let's go, all right? Let's go, game on three, Juan. Let's go, Juan.
Final couple of minutes here in the second quarter, but a turnover off a timeout, off an inbound play. Coach Mark Dickel can't be happy with that turnover.
Well, you know, Indonesians surprised us by putting some pressure all of a sudden on the inbounder and the receivers. They made a run here. They've cut the lead down to 12. They have a chance to get another good scoring play for themselves.
Gilas Pilipinas in penalty already. Ramos pressuring. There is another foul.
And we are in the penalty. That will mean free throw shots on Juan Gomez Liliano giving up that foul.
First personal foul.
See, he reached in.
Gomez.
If you notice before that play, Ramos banged the guy with his body. He wasn't called for a foul, but this guy reached in, and that's why he was called for a foul.
And that is where maybe their inexperience in the international game, maybe at this level, shows a little bit. Pero importante rin na maramdaman nila, na maranasan nila how it is to play at this level.
Okay lang yun. I think it's just a learning process also for him. You know, he likes to show that he has a lot of hustle, which he really is that type of a player, and we appreciate that. So 6-0 run here by Indonesia.
So the correct score is 35-25. Only a 10-point advantage now for Gilas Pilipinas, as it was Wikaksono converting on both free throws.
Let's hope to end the last 1 minute well. 3-point attempt, a little bit long. Good.
Offensive rebound, put back. Masyadong malalim para kay Ramos, but he
gets
fought
it
back.
again.
Ramos, one more try, still nothing there. Tip-in won't work either. And then
that's another loose ball foul, and we are in the penalty. It will mean free throw shots.
tough turn of events for the white shirts. So many opportunities to score. A couple from Ramos, one from Eram. Unfortunately, napuestohan itong si CJ Perez, leading to that blocking foul.
Look at this. This is a nice rebound, just a little bit too deep. He gets it again. This one, I think he could have brought it out because he was well challenged already. Use some clock. You know?
And this rebound of the quarter is brought to you by Smart. Grahita getting himself going from the free throw line. 3 of 3 so far. CJ Perez tagged with that last personal foul.
We're not finishing the quarter well. We started the quarter so good and defended so well, but we're not finishing the quarter well.
Only an 8-point advantage now. Near steal for Indonesia, but the Philippines recovers. Ramos.
Give to Eram.
Alley-oop play works out. So Ramos has had a couple of really good assists in this ball game. 1 to Thirdy, 1 to Eram now.
That's when I say that a guy is a mature type of player. You know, he used the pick very well. He made sure there was distance. And we are seeing Indonesia go for the last shot here. We have no fouls to give, so we cannot foul anybody here.
They switch on Prastawa. Rosario on him now. Prastawa attacks middle, draws the foul off the help from Eram.
He got banned there. It's not going to be on Rosario. I think it's on Eram, who came in to help from the weak side. And that was not a good foul because we're sending a scorer to the free throw line.
First 2 trips to the free throw line for Andakara Prastawa. 15 points in the ball game, 3 of 6 from downtown, 3 of 4 from inside.
Well, the 3 of 6 is funny because, he missed the first free throw. There are only 3 out of 9 from three-point country. So he has taken 6 of them. And he's made 50%. His teammates have not made any conversion. So it's a good miss for us. Still a double-digit advantage. But we will have no more time left to try to get anything on the offensive end.
Second free throw falls for Prastawa, making 16 points in the first half for him. And that is where we will end things in the first half of action. Gilas Pilipinas men having a much better performance, especially on defense in the second period, as they take a 37-28 advantage. They held Indonesia scoreless for these 4 minutes in the second period to be able to build a double-digit lead.
And many of them were coming off interceptions and layups. Like it was like an 11-2 run. And we shot 44% from the field, 2-point territory. They were 33%. We shot only 29% from 3-point territory. They shot 38%. Free throw 7 out of 9. That's pretty good for Indonesia. That's 77%.
Steals heavily in favor of Gilas Pilipinas, 9-4. Rebounding as well. We've had so many opportunities because of the offensive rebounding. and that is why they're up by 9 points. Thirdy Ravena is the top scorer so far for Gilas Pilipinas men with 10 points. Eramin Perez with 5 points apiece. Prastawa Diaksa leading all scorers with 16 points. Again, Gilas Pilipinas up 37 to 28 at the end of the first half of action. It is their first game of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers against Indonesia. Second half coming right up.
to the bar, and then another high-flying dunk.
The pass goes inside to Hamed Haddadi. Bounce pass, oh my, kidding me! Well, Hamed is not just about scoring and dunking, it's also about the behind-the-back pass. Back down, Herrera instead looks for the pass. Oh, what a play! Abu Hawass floats along the back door and throws it down after the soft pass from Tucker. Play of the game there.
On this weave now to the high post, great move. But the rejection from Mayuk. Lebanon in transition now. Mayuk goes up high with the exclamation point. After Mayuk, both ends of the floor. Look at this, there's the block. Runs the floor. Great play from his point guards.
Ibrahim, got to go early enough to get the rebound. Steps inside, the three to win it. It's good! From the corner! Shanahan makes the three.
Ni Doc yan.
Ang ano?
Ito po ang unang laro ng Gilas Pilipinas men in their campaign in the FIBA Asia Cup Qualifiers, and currently they're ahead 37-28 against the home team of Indonesia. Maraming salamat sa inyong patuloy na pagsubaybay. Carlo Pamintuan with Dr. J. Andiao. And Doc, we said that it will be a balance between the experience of the PBA players and the youth and aggression and hunger of the younger players. We saw a good combination of both in the first half.
Yeah, and I think you can see that the coaches were making a deliberate move to try to get everybody to get playing time. And continuously trying. Thirdy really came up and really showed what he can do offensively.
Doon nagbago yung laro actually ng Gilas Pilipinas men when the second unit came along, Thirdy Ravena powering their offense. But it was Prastawa who was outstanding with his shooting in the entire first half of action to lead all scorers. Sa kabilang banda, depensa naman ang puhunan ng Gilas Pilipinas.
And that's why you were saying we had 9 steals and we had 11 points coming of that. You know, we don't even have an 11-point lead at the end of the first half, but these were all freebies for us. So I think we realized that they're very limited in the type of offensive players that they have. And if they try to swing the ball that way with a skip pass, we're going to have a lot of interceptions, and we can really finish very well at the basket.
A lot of easy points on the break for Gilas Pilipinas men, especially in that good second quarter performance. But the Indonesians fighting right back kahit naiwanan na sila. The first 5 minutes of the second period, they were able to make a run, especially because Gilas Pilipinas fell into the penalty situation.
Yes, I think in the last two or 3 minutes, they had an 8-0 run, fueled by our poor shooting, and then they were clearing the boards, and they were getting to the free throw line a lot. But this guy continues to be a tough player for them.
Doc, among the younger players, who has impressed you so far in the first half?
There's no question that Thirdy has played well above what was expected of him, but that's the kind of player he is. I think Dwight Ramos is really going to be a big factor for the Gilas team come 2023. And we're taking a look at the leading scorers. Thirdy has 10, Rosario has 5, Perez and Eram have 5 apiece. Jakarta has 16, Grahita has 4, Sitoris and Kosasi has 2.
And we're just about ready to start the action in the third period. 9-point advantage for Gilas Pilipinas men. Carlo Pamintuan and Dr. J. Andiao still on the call. Gilas will have to adjust in terms of their defense against Prastawa because he has burned them with 16 points in the game, 6 of 10 from the field.
Well, I think we're doing the best that we can. If you notice, every time they try to ball screen for him, we're switching off with a big man. And our big men are guys that have good lateral movement, so it's not easy for him to break down our big men. Defensively, I'm not worried about our team. I think our shooting from three-point territory is very poor. And when we go up against teams like South Korea, we better do a job on that if we want to have any chance at competing against them.
Ang quarter na ito ay hatid sa inyo ng new Cobra Vitamin C, lakas at proteksyon. Cobra, the #1 energy drink.
We go back to our original starting 5 unit, and that's a favorite play there for Pogoy, but he misses that jumper.
Coach Raiko Toroman altering his starting unit as he has Wikak Sono on the floor to join their aces, led by Grahita and Prastawa. Prastawa, another 3-point shot, good again from the corner.
So they've had a good run going from the last 3 minutes of the second quarter up to the start of the third quarter. Kiefer, no fouls called, and he's looking back. You just have to come down. That's the way international games are played. You know, no calls, go back, you know.
Ravena has not yet scored in this ball game, although he has 4 steals in the contest already. JP Eram defending down low.
He traveled again.
Grahita.
He traveled again.
Yep.
2 in a row.
Finally, they called that.
The guy traveled on that side. And the guy
Grahita was not expecting that kind of a closeout. Thought that he had an open window to shoot. But you have to give credit to RR Pogoy for closing out long and forcing that turnover. Now the challenge is to get some scoring of their offensive sets para sa Gilas Pilipinas. Eram from the outside, and there was jockeying for position down low. Looks like Rosario will be tagged with a personal.
Yeah. In the rebound play, he pushed off against an Indonesian player who had good position there.
So that will give the red shirts, the home squad, another opportunity to inch closer. Ito yung mga kailangan iwasan. We know that they're getting their points off of steals, but they will have to limit their aggression because they fall into the penalty situation early.
Yeah. We already have 2 team fouls, and in international competition, when you get to 4, you get into the penalty situation on the next play, no?
And unfortunately, it was not an offensive foul against Rosario. It was a loose ball foul. Kaya mabibilang yan in the team foul count. Outstanding passing coming from Indonesia. And again, it is Prastawa scoring down low this time.
And they are putting some pressure. Kiefer, surprisingly, that he was the one inbounding because he should be the receiver as the point guard.
So far, this all-PBA crew has had its problems,
Yeah.
Dr. J. Perez, tough shot.
And again, the rebound. If they make another basket, we need to talk things over, or we need some substitutions here.
Grahita attacking, and he
that's
was
gonna be a
fouled.
foul by Eram. So that'll be the 3rd team foul called against Gilas Pilipinas here in the 3rd quarter. A lot of talking being done by our crew here. We hear the buzzer, and so we know there's going to be a substitution.
So it is Thirdy Ravena coming in, replacing CJ Perez. Coach Mark Dickel sticking to what worked also in the first half.
And Eram, who's also been struggling, is being replaced here by Abu Trotter. Good substitution. Like I said, if you're not going to call a timeout, you better make some substitutions if they score again.
This is Grahita, their leading scorer against South Korea. Continuing to pour in his points from the free throw line where he stays perfect. That's correct, Doc. Has missed all of his 3 attempts from the field. What a fight back coming from Indonesia.
Oh, he missed that one, but the ball goes straight at him. And we have a lane violation called against the Indonesians.
They've battled back in this contest, only down by 3 points, 37-34.
And you know, their team defense gets to be a little bit better because they're seeing some momentum. You get inspired. When you're making a comeback, your defense certainly picks up. And look at them sagging off Trotter because they know he's not a scorer, but he's getting into good position. Oh, what a rebound play there by Pogoy.
Kiefer for 3.
Yes!
Finally, he knocks it down. First field goal of the contest, brought to you by Smart.
That was a good offensive rebound there by Pogoy, keeping that ball alive, giving Kiefer an open shot.
Offensive rebounding, a big factor for Gilas in this contest against Indonesia.
I think we had a plus 12 in reboundings in the first half of play. There's the switch. And you can see the good lateral movement there of Trotter, but another foul called, and that'll now be the 4th team foul called against us.
6:58 mark of the 3rd quarter. And the next foul for the Philippines will be gifting free throws.
Defensive and loose ball fouls.
Let's see if they can play disciplined defense from here on out and not be lured into committing fouls. Grahita misses on the 3. Offensive rebound. No, it won't be for Indonesia. 30 to Kiefer to 30 again. Alley-oop is good with the foul. That was a Ravena to Ravena connection. And this move of the quarter is brought to you by Smart.
And that is, he ain't heavy. He's my brother. It's a beautiful pass and a beautiful finish. You really have to give a lot of credit to Thirdy to be finishing plays like that. He's got 12 in the ball game.
And Doc, musmus pa lang daw, ganyan na yung ginagawa ng Ravena brothers. So the chemistry is definitely there. Pogoy dials it home from the outside. This 3-point shot is brought to you by Smart.
Well, Pogoy has been responsible for a lot, and an early timeout now called by Indonesian as we have countered with some great shooting to up our lead back to 11.
Masih panjang perjuangan kita, masih bisa apapun terjadi sampai nanti akhir pertandingan. Kita dukung perjuangan timnas basket Indonesia malam hari ini. Ayo ramaikan lini masa di Instagram dengan mention ke @official timnas basket dan juga pakai hashtag yang global dan terbaik dan juga FIBA Asia Cup.
I told you, mate, you are standing here. You have to run. You come earlier. Play one shot. Okay? Penetrate, guys. You have a big guy saying in front of you. Come on.
A couple of points stressed by Indonesia head coach Raiko Toroman was that if they switch on the ball screen, if the Philippines switches on the ball screen and you have a guard being defended by a bigger defender, don't settle for an outside shot, attack and penetrate.
Yes, especially since the other team is already in the penalty situation. It's always an advantage. A long three-point shot, that looked good. Just not enough rotation there.
Wanted to douse the rally coming from the Philippines was Prastawa. Comes up a little short on that triple. Abu now to Rosario. They go to Kiefer. Thirdy looking for his options. Troy straight away three. Won't work. And there's a foul whistle down low drawn by Abu Tratter. It will be called against Kosasi.
That's what Abu gives you. You throw the ball up, he's going in there for a possible rebound play. Now, he may get it, he may not, but he's always going to be there present to try to give you a second chance.
That is the second team foul of Indonesia. Abu now posting up against Vincent Kosasi. Kiefer with 6 to work with. Ravena goes behind the back. Step back three. No good. Pogoy climbs over his defender to grab the rebound. However, the Philippines will be called for another loose ball foul. Free throws coming right up for Indonesia.
Well, that's a foul that you cannot avoid because you were scrambling to try to get the ball, to pick up possession.
Loose ball foul called against Abu. That's 2 fouls for him in this third quarter as Justin Chua returns to action.
Now, Justin will give you exactly the same thing as Abu in the sense of offensive rebounding. He loves to rebound, but he can also finish underneath the basket.
So Gilas Pilipinas answering back with a rally of their own after Indonesia crept to within 3. As this is Caleb Ramot Gemilang connecting on both free throws. Kiefer. RR Pogoy has possession. Cross-court pass to Thirdy. Thirdy attacks baseline. Layup won't work. But the ball will stay with the Philippines. Pogoy cannot knock down the triple. As Justin Chua could not control the offensive rebound. Grahita is swatted away by Thirdy Ravena.
See, Thirdy has not only scored, he has assisted, he has also blocked shots. You know, that's a part of his game that very few people give him respect. He can block shots because he can really get up there and he has good timing.
I thought Grahita traveled as well in that situation, dragging his pivot foot to try and evade Thirdy Ravena.
You can see when the confrontation came between the Bull and the Matador, the Bull backed off.
well, Thirdy has a reputation. However, this will be another careless foul on the Ramos. So 2 more free throws will be given for Indonesia.
Well, as a coach, you always want to remind your players, do not give up useless fouls in the beginning of a quarter because it really takes away your defensive game
Yep.
when you have to send the other team to the free throw line, and that's the only way they can come back, you know.
And especially with how Gilas used their defense, their aggression in defense to build their advantage in the second period. Now Wikaksono singing that first free throw.
Actually, we have not even really trapped them to a certain point wherein we get a trap against the ball handler. We're just pressuring.
Down to a 7-point advantage. Matt Nieto down low, forces it up and scores off the glass.
That's another thing about this guy, you know, he's not very big, but he knows how to post up against small players too, no? And he's strong.
First 2 points of the ball game para kay Matt Nieto. Thirdy Ravena playing great defense until
The foul
that
too.
last moment when he was called for the foul again. You go back to the inexperience maybe for some of these players, knowing the situation, knowing that there's still 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. You're already in the penalty situation. Maybe dial it a little back on the aggression.
Number one, that's already, I think, the 7th foul that we have committed in this quarter. But Thirdy's been that kind of a player. He will never not be aggressive, especially when he sees an opportunity to make you stop or probably get a steal against you. You know. But like you said, sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. You can do that another time.
17-6 advantage, Dr. J, in terms of free throws attempted in this ball game as Thirdy knocks down another three-point shot, his second of the ball game. This three-point shot is brought to you by Smart.
Well, like you said, like another thing about Thirdy, once he gives up that 2 points, you know, he's gonna come back and get it from you again. That's open. Good passing.
And that is a counter three-point shot for Prastawa, erasing the make coming from Ravena. Thirdy though, quickly attacking, drawing a foul from Wikaksono for 2 free throws.
If Thirdy is given enough playing time, he may get to 25 to 30 points in this ball game. Because Thirdy is a guy who never backs off.
So what's happening here is that the referee is warning Wikaksono for a screen that he provided earlier
Which we
that
saw, huh?
wiped out Roger Pogoy. But the thing is, if you thought it was clean, there should be no warning, but instead, you should have called the foul to begin with.
Exactly. And I thought that was an offensive foul because he pushed on the guy who was fighting the screen. How many points does Thirdy have already?
15 points already for Thirdy Ravena, and it'll stay that way after his first miss from the stripe. Because what happened was when Pogoy was down, Gilas was down one defender,
That's
kaya
right.
nagkalabo-labo na yung depensa, allowing that Prastawa three-point shot.
Correct. It was 5-on-4 and they were able to make a lot of good passes, eventually ending up in the corner for the three-point attempt. 4 minutes and 5 seconds left. A good match.
Arki Wisnu goes behind the back. What a move from the veteran. Wisnu could not finish, but Vincent Tokasi is there for the follow-up. This rebound of the quarter is brought to you by Smart.
51-45. No? I think they will adjust that. Yeah.
Thirdy attacks once again, and he will head back to the stripe for 2 more.
Well, Thirdy is also getting the other team into penalty. And we can still take advantage of going to the free throw line. There's still 3 minutes and 43 seconds left. But Thirdy, he gets that first step on you, he's going to take contact. He loves to accept contact. Gonna make the free throws though for Thirdy.
This one gets the friendly bounce for Ravena. Doc, in the first quarter, nung pumasok si Thirdy Ravena, good things happened for Gilas Pilipinas. Same story here in the third.
Yes. And that's why you remember when they cut the lead down, there was that substitution. Because I think Perez was taking a lot of, you would not say bad shots, but forced shots under duress. So he took him out, and Aram was also missing a lot of shots. So he took him out, put in Trotter, and now he put in Justin.
Arki Wisnu with a fake. Kick out pass to Wikaksono.
Oh,
Wild attempt finds its home, as that was a broken play already. Indonesia finding a way to score.
so they're competing. Huh? They're competing all the way up here into the third quarter.
And the home crowd starting to feel it. Kiefer Ravena with a jumper.
Yeah, those Blue Eagles, they're playing 1, 2, 3, and they're creating havoc. I mean, they seem to know where you're spotted up. That's pressure defense against a guy who cannot really dribble that well. But another
cheap
foul.
foul.
I don't know where that came from. So it's going to be free throw shots.
Ravena took a swipe at it from behind.
Which is automatic sometimes, no?
But to your point, Doc, there are 5 Ateneo Blue Eagles on the floor right now because they're joined by Chua. Of course, Dwight Ramos will be playing for that squad starting next season.
Yeah.
But
Thirdy playing 3, but he can play 4, so he's a swing.
Indonesia managing to stay within striking distance of Gilas Pilipinas because of the penalty situation.
Because of the free throw shots, correct. I mean, they might have had already 10 or 12 in this quarter alone. Attempts. And they seem to do well from that area.
So far, so good. About 85% shooting from the stripe for Indonesia.
You gotta give credit also to Roman. I mean, he's a champion FIBA coach, right? So he gets his team prepared, he gives them the right instructions. He gets mad at them, but it's the right thing to do.
55-49 is the count. 2 minutes, 44 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Arki Wisnu.
Oh, nice play. Muscled Justin out of the way.
Veteran move coming from Arki Wisnu as Yukaksono is trying to implore the crowd to get louder as they are climbing back in this third quarter against Gilas Pilipinas.
Screen. And on defense, we either foul or we just break down. Stay down, stay front. Unless he bump you off, play
Ten-point advantage for Indonesia in terms of free throws made, 16-6, and that has allowed them to creep back into this contest against Gilas Pilipinas men. We thank you for sticking with us on ESPN 5 on One Sports and also our live streaming accounts, One Sports on Signal and Sports 5 PH.
Okay, we set up some new plays. Nice pass. And the foul is called. Good assist pass there. Good cut of the scissors. And we have Kiefer going to the free throw line.
That was a quick attack coming from Gilas.
I think, was that Troy Rosario who gave the pass?
That is correct, Dr. J.
Of the veterans, I thought Troy and Pogoy have played very decent. Especially those rebounding of Pogoy in this quarter. Plus one of his three-point shots.
Well, maybe the familiarity with the system of Coach Mark Dickel also helps them out.
Yes. In a way, tab 2, no?
A good response coming from Kiefer Ravena with 2 free throws made to extend the lead back up to 6 points. Both teams in the penalty in the final 2 minutes, 15 seconds of the third quarter. Near steal for Juan Gomez de Liano. Where is this play going for Indonesia? Dwight Ramos with another steal. Forward pass now to Matt Nieto. Thirdy Ravena fouled on his way to the hoop. A hard foul.
I think that's an unsportsmanlike foul. It has been signaled as such.
Wisnu knew he was defeated already as he hacked Thirdy on his way up.
That's the one thing that we cannot afford. Any injuries.
Especially to Thirdy Ravena because he has been the best player of Gilas Pilipinas so far with 18 points and 4 rebounds in this game.
I think they've discussed and they probably want to see if that's an unsportsmanlike foul, which will mean free throw shots plus possession.
So you can see the referees.
They're going to review that.
Yep.
See, does he go for the ball at all here? He pushes him on the body,
Yep.
And that's why he's up in the air. No more balance left for the player. And he could have easily gotten hurt. If he's not 22, 23 years old, it'd be hard. 24, whatever. Well, that is an unsportsmanlike foul.
You know, Thirdy Ravena really invests in making sure that his body is prepared for the next stage of competitions. He wrapped up his collegiate career. Now, currently studying his options on where to play next as he was decked by Arki Wisnu.
I don't think the idea there was to hurt him, but the motion itself is an unsportsmanlike foul.
And looks like that will be the call, Doc. Looks like it will be an unsportsmanlike foul against Arki Wisnu, leading to 2 free throws for Thirdy Ravena and ball possession for Gilas Pilipinas.
Yes.
Two minutes and 1 second remaining. I think the confusion was just who committed the foul because you can see the referee signaling 33, which is the number of Arki Wisnu.
Yeah, and not Karim Abdul-Jabbar.
Certainly not.
He's not Karim Abdul-Jabbar, I mean. Because that was my favorite player.
Oh, for sure.
It's the first kind of shoes I had when I was young. Rubber shoes. The blue one, remember?
Thirdy getting a friendly roll on the second free throw. As he continues to lead the scorers for Gilas.
Well, you can see that our coaches are very serious about this game because, you know, we had a big lead. I think it was 16 points at the biggest that we had. But they have come back and they've played hard. That's an open shot. Another 3-point shot.
5 points courtesy of Thirdy Ravena in that play. 23 markers for Thirdy in this ball game.
I told you, if you let him play, you get 25 to 30.
Outstanding effort coming from the young gun. It is not his first time to play for Gilas Pilipinas.
Yeah, I remember he played with Coach Yen, I think in the previous tournament, right?
In the final window before the FIBA World Cup, he saw action for Gilas.
But he was playing, you know, always like a substitute in the end game, you know.
But again, because this is an investment for the future.
This is our 2023 team in the making.
That outside shot will not work as Thirdy grabs the rebound, his 5th of the ball game.
Rebound, block, steal, score.
Rosario studying his options now. Troy goes inside, goes the other way as he's fouled as he was shooting that one-hander to take 2 free throws.
Well, you're talking about a veteran. He really got the defensive player committed to go up into the air and foul him. So, Philippines coming up with a nice play there, getting our big men at the free throw line. They cannot sag off Rosario because he can face up and shoot you from there.
You know, the good thing about Troy Rosario, Doc, is that at 28 years of age, come 2023, it has a prime pa rin naman itong si Troy. So he can very well be one of the veterans for the squad.
Yes.
Of course, you're also counting R.R. Pogoy, CJ Perez, a bunch of young, talented, athletic PBA players who will continue to be, you know, members of the Gilas Pilipinas men. As the Philippines now lead 64-51.
We're stepping on the gas right now. And look at that defense. Oh, Thirdy loves that. You know, get you at the corners. Nice move again.
Oh, that's an outstanding move coming from Wisnu. Just could not finish the play with a layup. Prastawa has been silent for a while now. As Rosario attacks, the layup won't work. Tip in, nothing there. But another possession here for Gilas. Juan Gomez del Llano Could not convert from deep. Another offensive rebound. Would have been a foul against Wisnu, no call. Prastawa for three, no good. But he has the green light to take that kind of shot.
And he's open, so you know, that might probably the best shot for them because they also missed layups. He was wide open there.
Shot clock already turned off. Oh, an N1 play.
By
Coming
Liano.
up for Juan Gomez de Liano. Ang lakas move na ito ay atid sa inyo ng new Cobra Vitamin C. Lakas at proteksyon. Cobra, the #1 energy drink.
We have poured it on after fighting that fight back there by Indonesia. You could see they have run out of steam. No? And Thirdy has engineered this fight back together with Kiefer and Troy Rosario. And with Isaac Go coming in for the second time in this ball game. You know, Isaac is a good player, but he just really has to get himself into the mode of the game first.
Bonus free throw is good for Juan Gomez de Liano. 10 seconds to shoot for Indonesia before we end the third quarter. That's an early attack, so still a few ticks left for Gilas Pilipinas. And that heave will not work out for De Liano. Good third quarter performance after Indonesia threatened to march their way back into this ball game down by only 3 points. Gilas Pilipinas men with Thirdy Ravena leading them now build a 67-53 lead heading into the fourth and final quarter of action. Quarter of action in the first game of Gilas Pilipinas in their campaign in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. So far, so good. Although they've had some challenges coming from the Indonesian side who has come out to play in this game. Thirdy Ravena leading the squad with an outstanding performance so far in this ball game. 23 points for Thirdy to help Gilas build a 67-53 lead.
And you had 5 rebounds, as you mentioned, so obviously that's also a big help. Rebounding is always a big help. Actually, shooting percentage is not that bad for Indonesia. And they did not really have a big number advantage on the free throw attempts. They had 19. I think we had 17. But that third quarter, at the start of that quarter, they had a lot of free throw shots given.
Ang quarter na ito ay atid sa inyo ng new Cobra Vitamin C. Lakas at proteksyon. Cobra, the #1 energy drink.
Oh, nice move, but no finish.
So the crew for head coach Mark Dickel features Juan Gomez de Liano, Isaac Go, RR Pogoy, Poy Eram, and Dwight Ramos. And Pogoy slices up the defense, parts the Red Sea, and scores off the glass.
Well, he has played well. He has played like a veteran. He has rebounded like a veteran. And, you know, his defense is also he's also a very tough defensive player.
Doc, ang pinaka-importante na kailangan matandaan ng Gilas Pilipinas, stay away from those early fouls here in the fourth.
Yeah, especially the cheap fouls here because you're trying to reach in. Oh. And that was a forced shot by
there is a basket coming from RR Pogoy. Somehow, some way, they focused on JP Era. Maybe they thought that it was a shot clock violation. So RR Pogoy leaks out and scores 2 more points to add to his tally. An early timeout for Indonesia as the score is 71-53 in favor of Gilas Pilipinas.
Go with the last push. So don't let now then they are going for 30 points. We play enough good 3 quarters not to give them 30 points difference. Try to consider. Score easy. First off, one down with, or no, half short with
55 seconds into the fourth quarter, already a timeout requested by Indonesia head coach Raiko Toroman, because he knows that this is, at this stage, make or break for the Indonesian side.
Yeah, and I thought that he also wanted to emphasize something because in the previous play, I thought that they thought that there was a 24-second shot clock violation. But we took advantage and the ball just kept on going. Got a layup.
Now Arki Wisnu kicking the ball out, almost a steal for Juan Gomez de Liano. 10 to shoot for Indonesia. Kick out pass to Grahita, fakes the three, dribbles in closer. Grahita, the cross-court pass.
This will stay there because it was stopped
Yep.
from behind. But they only have 3 seconds left on their shot clock.
So far, good, clean
Defense.
from the white shirts.
I think we learned our lesson from giving up useless fouls there in the third quarter.
They go quickly to Wisnu. He has to make a move. His pass stolen by Dwight Ramos. Ramos pushing the pace, drawing contact, and getting the send one opportunity.
This guy can play.
And this move of the quarter is brought to you by Smart.
Maybe a lot of people are wondering why he's in the Gilas pool, no? When we have never seen him play previous to this, but he's a Filipino. His father is a Filipino, and I think his mother is half Russian or something like that.
Grew up in the States, will play 2 seasons of collegiate ball for the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Dwight Ramos now has 5 points, 5 rebounds, and a couple of steals in this game.
And he's been substituted, so Perez comes back into the ball game. That's enough for you. We know what you can do. Sit down.
It's also important, of course, to get CJ Perez
Yes,
going.
yes. He started off like a house on fire too. He had a 3-point shot, you know. Oh,
It's all penetration and kickouts for Indonesia right now. Eram taps it to the wrong guy as Grahita sends it down low. Kosasi could have taken the shot there as this Indonesian offense is in disarray. Somehow they find a 3-point shot to fall.
and a 4-point play in the offing.
That is the first field goal conversion for Grahita. This 3-point shot is brought to you by Smart.
Second personal foul.
That was a shot made. Well, he had good position. Then the foul was there. So he has a chance for a 4-point play. He's gone 5 out of 6 from the free throw line in this ball game. One of their top scorers. And that was clean.
74 to 57. Good advantage for Gilas Pilipinas. But Indonesia staying stubborn, wanting to claw their way back into this contest. Perez with a nice pass to JP Eram down low. Patient move coming from JP, comes up empty as Grahita grabs the defensive rebound. A lot of gimmies missed by the big man of Gilas Pilipinas. Arki Wisnu missing his own gimme as the ball will stay with the Indonesians.
Effort, you can see that very evidently with the Indonesians. Talent underneath the basket, obviously not as strong.
So Thirdy and Thirdy Ravena checking back into this ball game to join CJ Perez and Poy Eram as the unit for Coach Mark Dickel. 3-point shot for Sitorus won't work. Pogoy with the board.
Pogoy quietly. I want to look at how many rebounds he's had in this ball game.
He is one of the more aggressive guard rebounders in the PBA. Three-point shot for RR. It's good.
Second three-point shot conversion for RR Pogoy in this ballgame.
And this three-point shot is brought to you by Smart. Grahita kicks it out to Sitoros. Corner pocket. Three ball is good as a counter.
Well, he sized it up with his previous attempt, so let's do it again.
77-60 is the score.
Ooh,
Oh, good
nice
fake. RR Pogoy wide open for the layup.
The veterans really showing well. As far as Pogoy and Troy Rosario, they've been through a lot of battles with the Gilas team. A lot of sacrifices.
As you said, Doc, seems like a quiet performance for Pogoy, but he has 16 points and 6 rebounds.
Yeah.
CJ attacking the layup too strong. Perez, second effort is there.
It's not stopping.
And this rebound of the quarter is brought to you by Smart.
I think that will match the biggest lead that we've had in this ball game, 21 points.
Another turnover against Indonesia. Forward pass to Pogoy. Stops. Sets his feet for three. No good. As Indonesia will go on the offensive. Grahita stops. And now they will set up their offense. Less than 6 minutes remaining. As Thirdy wanted a highlight, wanted a steal, and a fast break opportunity, but he's tagged with a foul.
Substitution. Indonesia, substitution Philippines.
Arki Wisnu heading back into their bench. Did his damage actually here in this contest, as Vincent Kosasi and some limping.
Maybe a slight sprain of the ankle there.
And this will be May Johnny entering the ball game for the first time.
Yeah. Young player.
So Indonesia, they know that it could have been a very different ball game against South Korea and against the Philippines if they had the services of Lester Prosper. But even though, you know, you've struggled in your first two games as an unsportsmanlike foul will be called against Grahita here, we've seen enough, you know, bright spots coming from this Indonesian squad, Dr. J.
Well, I think, you know, they've never been noted for basketball. That's a unsportsmanlike foul because you did not go for the ball and you grab the guy. And of course, Thirdy is going to act it all the way, you know. So he's going to go back to the free throw line and have possession. Remember, the previous time this happened for him, he had 5 points. Short.
36 of 9 from the free throw line. 7 of 13 from the field for 23 points, 7 rebounds. The Philippines scorers, 2 misses though for Thirdy.
He talks too much with Kiefer, that's why he missed. He probably was kidding him. What kind of acting job did you do there?
Something that I learned from you, Thirdy said back to Kiefer. 81-60, 21-point lead for Gilas Pilipinas. Ravena, his bounce pass tapped, stolen by Indonesia.
They read that. The defense read that. So we didn't get anything out of that unsportsmanlike foul.
Well, luckily for the Philippines, this is a nice 21-point cushion for them. As we approach the midway mark of our fourth and final quarter. Grahita, wild kick out pass. Prastawa open for three. He's starting to miss though. Oh, good forward pass. CJ Perez with a nice assist from Thirdy.
Yeah, it's good teamwork that we're displaying right now. Not only on offense, but also on defense.
And that is a scary tandem on the open floor. Thirdy and CJ Perez, 2 athletic, smart, and aggressive players.
And they can finish very well on the break.
You can see now, yung mga balikat ng Indonesians slowly bumabagsak na, Dr. J.
Yeah, you know, you can hear that the Indonesian crowd is very vociferous, but you also see a lot of Filipinos when they were panning. And that's not our local cameras, no, that's their cameras.
Rosario with a casual jumper will not work.
There's what we say about Trotter. He'll always be there. You drop the ball, he's going to try to look for a rebound.
That's a flop coming from the Indonesian defender, Thirdy Ravena, with a booming triple. This is now the biggest lead of Gilas Pilipinas as Ravena hits 10 points in the game.
Well, we just needed to get our game back, and it took about 4 or 5 minutes for us to put the game away there at the end of the third quarter. There's another steal by CJ Perez. He passes to himself and dunks it.
Highlight alert for CJ Perez, turning defense into offense. Getting the steal, passing it to himself, and skying for the slam dunk. Ang lakas move na ito ay hatid sa inyo ng new Cobra Vitamin C. Lakas at proteksyon. Cobra, the #1 energy drink. 28-point lead for the Philippines, 88-60. Gilas Pilipinas men breaking the game wide open here in the fourth quarter as they lead 88-60 against Indonesia. 21-7 so far in this period. Carlo Pomintuan and Dr. J. Andy Howe. As you can see, CJ Perez still playing aggressively on defense as Prastawa scores inside.
I like the way that our 1, 2, 3s and even up to the fourth grade. I'm just a little bit worried as we take a look at this three-point shot. These are big men when we have to play teams that have good big men.
Yeah.
I don't think they responded very well here. Defensively, they were okay, but offensively, they were not a big help. So, if the other team is also a good defensive team that will clamp down on your small men, you're going to have to need those guys on the trenches scoring.
Among the big men, it's only really Troy Rosario.
Troy Rosario is the only one that you...
Thirdy open floor, nothing there. As Gilas is rushing their shots a little bit in the last couple of possessions.
That's a foul there, but no calls were made and Toromani open.
Now there's a foul called, an unsportsmanlike foul.
Unsportsmanlike foul number 17, May Johnny.
That's May Johnny called for it. That'll be the third unsportsmanlike foul whistled against Indonesia in this ball game.
Well, this is a young player. I think he may have pushed off, again, with no intention of stopping the ball or going for the ball, but they'll discuss it first.
Two minutes, 40 seconds remaining. The foul was drawn by Abu Tratter.
They'll review it again.
Second time that the referees have gone to the replay. Let's check this out one more time. Maybe a jersey grab, Doc, was what happened there.
Yeah.
Just when Abu Tratter was rolling to the basket, May Johnny tried to grab him from behind. And the call will stick. It'll be 2 free throws for Abu Tratter. And ball possession for Gilas.
Justin Chua coming back into the ball game, replacing Troy Rosario.
Abu has played a solid game so far in the minutes that he has been given.
Well, he's played what is expected of him. You know, what his job is, he has done properly. I think he has 3 points in the ball game now on 3 free throws.
Has 3 rebounds, and his team is a plus 14 in the 10 minutes that he has played in the game. 2 minutes 40 seconds remaining before Gilas Pilipinas wraps up their first win of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Shatter
Nice
down
pass.
low with a nice pass coming from Thirdy Ravena.
Thirdy might have 3 or 4 assists also in this ball game besides those rebounds and the scoring.
That is indeed his 3rd assist of the contest. Prastawa still launching, but he has slowed down considerably. Juan Gomez de Liano, short step back jumper's money.
He sets up good balance on his feet. Last 2 minutes coming up, and we have blowed the game wide open. 32-point lead right now. When is our next game? We play Thailand.
It will be dependent on when FIBA will reschedule it. As we noted earlier, there was a cancellation for what should have been a home game for the Philippines against Thailand.
Yes.
Last Feb 20. Now it is not yet known when that game will be played. So this will be our lone game for this particular window.
So we're not going up against Korea either.
Not yet. At ang last 2 minutes ng larong ito ay hatid sa inyo ng new Cobra Vitamin C Lakas at Proteksyon. Cobra, the #1 energy drink.
Well, if you look at Indonesia, it looks like right now they only have 2 players that you have to defend up against offensively.
Yeah.
And the others are not good enough to beat you.
Nice little drive there coming from Juan Gomez de Liano as his layup gets a roll. He also hits double digits with 10.
He's a hard player to defend because he can shoot the outside shot. But he has also that quick first step and knows how to finish at the basket. There's going to be a foul there. Called against Liano.
So in terms of our schedule, Doc,
Yes.
not counting the game against Thailand, which we don't know yet when it will happen, we will play again November 27 against Korea and November 30 against Thailand before finishing the campaign next year, Feb 18 against Indonesia, Feb 21 against Korea. So if you're just looking at the numbers, you need to take care of business against Thailand and Indonesia, and it would be enough to send Gilas Pilipinas to the FIBA Asia Cup.
Correct. Well, you get 4 wins out of the 6 games. That's 67%. You know. And I don't think Indonesia can get 4 wins. I don't know about Thailand because you said they did give them a good account of themselves against Korea earlier. No?
Played very well against South Korea, only losing narrowly 93-86, and it was a Korea home game, Doc. Could have been very different if that contest was played in Thailand. Grahita
continues to do well from the free throw line.
Yep, but more tamed performance as compared to how he did in their first game against South Korea, where he led his team with 25 points. But you've been talking about them, Doc, si Grahita, si Prastawa, the 2 guards who are really focal points of the offense. But when Lester Prosper comes into this squad, they will be very different.
Yeah, because they'll have an inside game. Prosper can play outside. He also has a post game. And, you know, he will also provide the last spark. There is a shot there for Isaac Go. Be a little bit more patient, but coming back.
And that leads to a fast break opportunity that Indonesia could not capitalize on. Basket down low for Justin Chua.
Yeah, and I was telling you that I thought they needed a big man, which Prosper certainly can field. But they also need 2 more players that can shoot from the outside. And that will be probably in the 3 position. Because if not, they'll never have enough improvement on their squad.
And one of those locals would be Brandon Jawato, the guy sitting beside Lester Prosper. Behind the back pass was a little bit wayward as Indonesia retakes possession. Grahita fakes the 3 and then takes this one, gets it to drop.
They're still fighting until the very end. So
And
2 more plays coming up for us.
And if you're Coach Raiko Toroman, that's really everything that you
can
want to
ask for.
see. Yep. Matt Nieto overshoots the mark. Isaac Go muffs the follow-up, but Justin Chua is there to take care of business. That should be the final shot of the contest for Gilas Pilipinas.
For Isaac Go, it's just like a learning process. Like he's a freshman in the game. But once he learns how to play the game, and cools up, he can be a big threat too.
So Indonesia performing well in the first quarter of action against Gilas Pilipinas, but just too much coming from the Philippine side as they picked up their first victory of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, winning 100-70 against Indonesia on the road.
30-point lead.
Against Thailand on 21st February 2021 at Mahaka Arena. Thank you for being with us today. We look forward to having you support the Indonesian national team on their road to the FIBA Asia Cup.
Gilas Pilipinas men picking up a 30-point victory, 100-70 kontra sa koponan ng Indonesia. A great start to their campaign in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Carlo Pamintuan with Dr. J. Andihao. And Dr. J, it was a tight ball game in the first quarter, but Gilas played great defense in the second quarter. And when they stopped fouling, doon talaga lumabas yung tunay na galing ng basketballistang Pilipino.
Yeah, I think we also had the benefit of a deeper bench, because Indonesia did come back in the third quarter in the first 6 minutes. But then when the substitutions were made by Coach Mark Dickel, we began to show our defense plus the way that we finished very well.
As we take a look at the updated team standings in our group, South Korea lording it over the field as they picked up victories against Indonesia on the road and against Thailand at home. Pilipinas naman will be the second-ranked team so far with a 1-0 record. Yun nga lang, dahil hindi natuloy yung unang laro supposedly for Gilas against Thailand, that will be the end so far of the standings in our Group A. Doc, who impressed you the most from Gilas?
Well, obviously, Thirdy Ravena played very well. I thought Pogoy and Troy Rosario played well. They pushed themselves to a point wherein they kept the team alive. Kiefer did his job as being a point guard. And I thought that this guy, Dwight Ramos, is showing a lot. Plus, of course, CJ did not have a very good in-between games, but he tried to finish harder. And I think he can play much better than that.
23 points for Thirdy Ravena, 16 for RR Pogoy, double-digit scoring as well from Kiefer Ravena, CJ Perez, and Juan Gomez de Liaño. And that wraps up the first win of Gilas Pilipinas, 30-point victory against Indonesia. Maraming salamat po sa inyong patuloy na pagsubaybay. We'll see you next time for more Gilas Pilipinas basketball.